Welcome back. We have Abe from Eat Local Ohio talking all things Instagram. He just gave an amazing presentation at our Eat Local Ohio Marketing Summit, and I wanted to share it with our listeners.
Imagine a perfect world where you can build a restaurant, open the doors, and make loads of money. Unfortunately, those days are over. It takes great leadership, hard work, and long hours to operate a successful restaurant. Together, we can make it happen. This is Restaurantopia.
We say post and portrait. If you've ever come across, see how it's just taking up more real estate on the screen. And every now and then you get to one that's more landscape, and most of the time you don't even see it anymore. But we say post and portrait because it takes up more landscape on the screen and it catches your eye better. We also, if you guys notice, on our page, pretty much everything here is reels. We used to do primarily photos, and the reels just get such better engagement that we've been pretty much primarily reels for the last 2 solid years. This is over here in the green coat is Rama, and she helps run the Eat Local Ohio page with me, and there's another gentleman down in Columbus. But we're all out there gathering content. But we just get so much more engagement with the reels these days that this is what Instagram is pushing. And I know from you guys, from an operator's standpoint, who here finds reels difficult or intimidating or too time consuming? Not so much? Oh, good. Anthony does. So you guys are in a good place. If that's the answer to that question, then you guys are probably already doing a lot of reels. My goal here is to make it to where it's a little bit easier, a little bit quicker. My biggest advice with reels these days is don't overcomplicate them. You can put all kinds of work into a reel and spend an hour and a half, 2 hours getting it right, and someone might have 15 seconds that they spend, and if yours is longer than that, they're scrolling away. So keep them short. We're noticing that the shorter reels, they will get pushed harder. And that has to do with the way that the algorithm looks at your reels. Basically, it's always trying to gather how appropriate your content is. And if you make this beautiful minute-long reel, you spend all this time on it, and someone gave you 15 seconds and swipes away because we're all ADD at this point in time, right? Our attention span's like that long. The algorithm is only taking that as, well, they didn't finish the reel, so they must not have liked it. Keeping reels concise and simple, making them quick. I like to just kind of scroll through my feed and kind of see what I see and take notes from other people as far as what kind of content to use. But what would you guys say, who here is doing at least 1 reel a week on their Instagram page? Who here is doing 3 a week? How many are you doing a week, Joe? 7. Have you noticed better engagement with your reels than with just simple photos? My suggestion with reels, keep them short, find good quality content, eliminate the fluff, and make them as potent as possible. And we're going to get into actual styles of video editing and things like that. But this is just the basics. This is just the quick stuff. Take good photos, guys. And it's not hard to take good photos. Our phones all have great cameras on them. The 4 biggest things that I always tell people to think about when they're taking photos: get good light. Natural light is best. I think that everybody here that does social media has got that spot in your restaurant, that one booth or that one table where the lighting's good. I'll bring up some photos that I've taken, and I'll just kind of talk through my thought process on some of these things. You know what? I was out at Papa Joe's not too long ago, and I took some photos. So, and this is at a little tiny 2-foot table on the side of their cafe, their marketplace, and it's it doesn't look like you could get great photos there. But what I always do is I walk around, I look around the room, I go, what can I pull into this photo? Okay, there's a pepper grinder. I'm going to pull that pepper grinder. I'm going to get some silverware. I think that I grabbed this little flower arrangement off of a window or something. I kind of just made myself at home there. You look for ways to I always say, look at the corners of your photos and find ways to make them more interesting. But with this one, grab a bottle of wine, pour a glass of wine. I always think about your food is going to be the center location central focus, but make it interesting in the background too for when you're taking those types of photos. Think about the corners and crop and edit, guys. I've got some good editing apps. If you guys don't use photo editing apps, it's not always necessary, but use photo editing apps if you guys are like taking photos back on the line where you got those fluorescent lights above you. And I'll get into this. I'll show you some apps that can really take and make kind of like an ugly photo halfway decent because of playing with, you know, the contrast, playing with the highlights, playing with things like that. So that is my advice on the photos. And we're going to do a couple workshops later on where we'll get a little bit deeper there. Yes?
So how important, it looks like is that natural light, I'm assuming? Is there a window there?
That is natural light, yep. And I always say when you can use natural light, I like it better. Now, I've talked with photographers who do a great job. I actually ran into one a couple weeks ago when I was out. I was watching him. He was basically taking pictures of the food I had just taken pictures of. They had, they invited him out to get as much as they could for the food that they were putting out. But and he uses totally artificial light, and his photos are amazing. I don't know if you guys have ever looked at Cloak and Dagger's Instagram page. They do an amazing job, and that guy uses 100% artificial light, but he gets a little more intricate. Like he's putting the light up here and he's bouncing it off this whiteboard back here. I say if you got a good window with good natural light, take advantage of it. It's less setup. You know, for you guys, as quick as you can make this process, because every single one of you has other things that you are doing that day. You know, most of you guys have employees that you're trying to make sure are at work and lines to prep and all this stuff. So as little, my goal is to like make it simple for you. And I say natural light, find a good spot and use that. One of the biggest things, guys, is posting consistently. And I have under there, so Hillcrest always has this, they have this idea of like a raging fan. And we're always trying to create raging fans of like our concepts, or raging fans for Eat Local Ohio, raging fans for Hillcrest. And I always like kind of laugh when I think of this because like to me a raging fan is like, yeah, like your pizza's awesome, you know? And it's like, I don't know if we're gonna like, that might seem far-fetched, but when I think about a social media following, like the power of social media to me is that, you know, I can put out a video and, you know, I really like to look at how many shares and how many saves did it get. Like likes are okay, but like the power behind social media is that if you interact with your audience, if you get a new follower, and you make them feel special. If you go and like one of their photos, or if you go and comment on one of their posts, they're like, oh man, Altieri's Pizza knows I exist. You know what I mean? Oh man, Michelangelo's winery commented on my thing. They have like 50,000 followers. There's like that wow factor. And what you guys can do to your following, and I would encourage you to start to think about your following like this, is turn them into a raging fan. Turn them into where when they see you guys, they remember that connection, whether it's the last time they were out at your spot, whether it was the last interaction you had with their post. But when they see your content, they go, oh, I like Altieri's Pizza. I'm sharing that. And you can turn one person into someone that's like sharing your, you know, every time they see it, oh, I'm sending this to this friend. Oh, I'm sending this to that friend. And that's really how like I gauge my success is, did people share my post with their friends? That's the power when you get those raging fans, is that every time they see your post, they're going to like it. They're going to like it. They're going to like it. And that's what the algorithm looks at to push you guys in front of more eyeballs, is how many people liked it. So keep that in the back of your mind when you're creating content. You're really there to get your fans to really appreciate what you do and like it enough to send it out to their friends and to like it themselves. If you do that, half of your battle's already won with growing your following, because the algorithm's going to look at it and see that people are engaging with it, and it's going to push it harder on its own. Any questions about all that?
It's funny you picked on him because I think Matt, he won't speak for himself if I know him well enough, but he's made an art form out of that engagement piece you're talking about. And so often, we had a fellow in Restaurantopia that said something pretty profound, and he said, be the show, not the commercial, right? And so often restaurants just churn out content, right? But they're not worried about the other side of it. They're just, hey, look at us, look at us, look at us. But Matt specifically has done such a tremendous job of engaging, and I can speak firsthand in my household how it lights people up when the owner of that restaurant, which is all you guys, how they give that person special attention. Then all of a sudden you got that raging fan, and then to your point, they're sharing and they're pumped up.
100%.
And it's hilarious. But Matt, kudos to you, buddy, because you do a tremendous job with that. You got it, man.
So who here goes out of their way to add personality to their page? Whether it's your employees, whether it's yourself? Anybody? Or you guys mostly stay with food? I know you do. Joe dresses up in a chicken suit. And we have found and not everybody has the staff to do it. Not everybody's comfortable being a face on the page. I'll be honest, you see my face very rarely on the Eat Local Ohio page. I feel like I have to make an appearance here and there, but I kind of keep it minimal. I would rather show off the food. I don't really necessarily like, being the face of that. But what we have found over the years is that the ads with people in them are literally twice as much engagement. Joe's shaking his head. Can anyone else attest to that they've noticed that when you have personality in your videos, people respond to it? And guys, that's the simple benefit of you guys doing what you do. They love you. They like when they come in, they like seeing the people that they know, the servers that take care of them, the bartenders that take care of them. If there's a owner-operator that comes out and talks to them, they are rooting for you guys. So if you have the ability to put personality on your page, I definitely say do it. And we've even gone into I've challenged people to, get the staff involved with actually gathering content for you. I don't know, does anyone have staff members that, the invitation is there for, hey, you guys can have a free meal whenever you want. Just gather some content for me and post it on the page. Does anyone do that kind of stuff? Because I know that I've worked with owners and operators that get their staff involved like that. And it's really cool because eventually it does kind of organically turn into them becoming part of the face of that restaurant. And it just helps them out with what we were just talking about of building that face that goes along with your restaurant that they can identify with. Engaging with other accounts, guys, we kind of have a rule at Eat Local Ohio when we post. And what we'll do is basically we'll take 5 or 10 minutes before and 5 or 10 minutes after we post. And sometimes it feels like you don't have the time to do this, but basically we take 5 or 10 minutes and we just kind of scroll through the feed and we kind of just see, Corner Spot, Cleveland. I've been trying to get out there forever. I've heard great things. Go through and and engage. So Instagram is a very community-oriented platform, and the more that you are engaging with other accounts, the more Instagram is looking at you like a team player where you're participating in this community that they're building. So it's going to be more likely to push your content in front of other eyes. Also, you get the cross-pollination of if I just liked Corner Spot, chances are they're going to be more likely to put my stuff in front of Corner Spot's eyeballs, but also in front of Corner Spot's followings eyeballs because they see that relationship. They see a relationship that's back and forth. So we always say 5 minutes, 10 minutes before you post, go through, look through the feed, engage on what you like, comment on what you like, put your post out, and then we always say, if you have the ability, in the next couple hours, go back and engage with your own posts. And I'll give you a story that kind of this story always sends it home to me that shows the power of how engagement on your posts work. This was a couple years ago. I was putting out a video reel for anyone ever been to Landmark Smokehouse? Landmark up in Cleveland. Really great spot for barbecue. I was super excited about this reel. I mean, it was one of those ones where I had the perfect song. I lined everything up to the beat. It was a beautiful piece of work. And I put it out and it was just dead. I think I put it out at 10 a.m. and by 11 it had 300 or 400 views, and I'm this thing should be at 5,000 or 6,000 right now. And so I start thinking to myself, and I look and there's no engagement. And at this point in time, I think I have 3 different phones going on, and I have probably 5 or 6 different Instagram accounts, whether it's music or personal or church or this or that. And so I was you know what? I'm going to go see what happens if I just go start from my other accounts, start engaging with this post, right? So I log on as one of my accounts and I go, oh, I like that. Oh, I made a comment. That looks really good. And so now I log on and then as another account and I comment on that comment and I like it and this and that. And so I spent about maybe 10 or 15 minutes with my 5 or 6 accounts, and I literally have some conversations going back and forth between myself and my other page. But I swear to you, 10 or 15 minutes, put my phone down, went back to what I was doing, came back in an hour and looked at it, and it kick-started it right back up. I was at like 10,000 views. We were at 40 or 50 comments. Like, it, for whatever reason, just needed that push. It needed pushed over that hump. I don't come into that very often, and I don't fabricate too many comments on our pages, but that really showed me the power of how the algorithm is looking at this post. Like, if for whatever reason you put it out and it's a Monday morning and everyone's entrenched in whatever they've got going on, nobody's liking or commenting, the algorithm's looking at that post like, well, it must not be that good. And I just had to kickstart it. But I use that to kind of paint the picture of how engaging with your post, the algorithm is just looking at how many comments it gets. So it could have 10 comments from your fans and your followers saying, ooh, that looks good. Oh, what is that? Or it could have 20 comments because you responded to each one of them. Oh, that looks good. Oh, thanks. Come in and try it. You know what I mean? I always look at that, and even this year, starting in 2023, I started making it a point to go back and reply to every comment that we got. And I noticed a giant spike in our viewership and in our followership in 2023, just because I was making it a point to where every other day I was going through and I was show me all the newest comments. And even if it's just a comment back, a thumbs up or a smiley face or a heart, to the algorithm that looks like more engagement. So engage with other accounts, engage with your own posts.
I just thought of this as you're talking. Do you think it would be wise to encourage your staff that when the account posts, so when your restaurant posts something, that the staff is actually going out and engaged? Because you got a lot of people working in your restaurant.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, if you can get your staff on board to help you guys with that. The only couple other things that I wanted to go over on this social media, simple concepts, stories are important, guys. For Eat Local Ohio, I will say that is one area we can improve upon. I think that we could get better at our stories, but there, in the world of Instagram, I feel like there's two different people. There's the scrolling through the feed people, and there's story people. Who here is a story person? Nobody? Okay. There are certain people that all they do is stories. Like, so if you're not doing stories, you're missing out on a whole portion of people that you could be capturing their engagement. And stories are just more of like a real time, hey, what's going on today? Hey, what's going on in the restaurant today? Just something fun, something simple. Your staff has something silly that they're doing. Put it on a story.
And one other thing, Abe, if you have hesitation in the personality part of it, the stories are nice because it's gone in 24 hours. It's not
Exactly.
Maybe feel a little like weird, but it's gone, quickly.
Yeah, like what we usually do is if we're having like Valentine's Day, it's just a special cocktail or a special meal for that specific day. Besides posting it, we do like a bunch of stories that are also getting people to interact with us.
And it's a little more in real time. Like, this is something, like he said, it's going away in 24 hours. So this is something that is in real time. This is something that we're doing today. This is something that's coming like quick. I am going to give you guys an opportunity to fill up your cup of coffee, get another snack if you want. I'm going to introduce you to Pablo, who is Eat Local Ohio's team lead. So take a second, stretch your legs. Pablo's going to get his laptop plugged in. We will be back with you shortly.
This is a high quality pod. Thank you, everybody.
Take care. Adios.
Thank you for listening to Restaurantopia. The gratitude that we have for each and every one of you spending your precious time to listen to this podcast is immeasurable. Please make sure to tell a friend about this podcast. And also, if you have any feedback for us, visit us on restaurantopia.com and drop us a line. You can also subscribe on your favorite place to listen to podcasts. Thank you and have a great day.